Just came in.
Pursuant to the provisions of Chapter 231 of the laws of 1976, the Open Public Meetings Act, Mr. Bashar will notify the public their notice of the date, time, location, and agenda of this meeting to the extent known was provided at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting in the following manner. By posting such notice on the public announcement board of the Lakewood Board of Education offices and the Lakewood Township Municipal Building, by mailing such notice to the offices of the Asbury Park Press, by filing such notice with the Board Secretary, by mailing such notice to all individuals who requested and paid for a copy of same.
Mr. Fink?
Here.
Mr. Friedman?
Here.
Mr. Greenspan?
Here.
Ms. Mikio?
Here.
Mr. Seidler? Mr. Silver?
Here.
Mr. Tipp?
Here.
Mr. Slankin?
Here.
Mr. Gunn?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Motion to go to private session.
One second, let's do some people have to leave now, so we might do this, let's go to the agenda.
Discussion,
On the agenda,
why do we go in private session?
one second, hold on one second.
Rescind the motion.
For the record, there is no motion to go in private session?
Correct.
Okay.
At the moment. How many people?
Let me count. 14.
Okay. Any presentations? Minutes? Most, yes, the minutes?
It appears there's minutes from April 13, 2011. Is that correct, Rosie?
Yes.
Second.
Who made the first?
I did.
And second? Any issues on the minutes?
Yeah, Mike, there's a couple of things I noticed in the back of those minutes as far as, I've never seen it before in the back of minutes. As far as
Can you be more specific?
line items. I've never seen it before in the back of minutes. Is there something new that we're doing or?
Well, let's ask Rosie who types them, if that's okay with the superintendent. Rosie, is there an issue? Did you type the minutes in a different form?
I just need to look and see.
Okay, if that's okay with the board president.
No, that's always in there, the agenda, gets stuck in.
Please, the public has a right to hear.
Once you, the board votes on the agenda then gets put in under the, after the motion. The whole agenda is in there, just part of the minutes.
But
Right?
I've never seen line items before.
That's always, I'll bring out others for you to show you.
That's true. We're kind of backed up, but at no fault of Rosemary.
It's not Rosie's fault. In fact, she works weekends and evenings.
Yes.
Yes, you're right. Cynthia used to do that. Not work minute, but do the minute.
Maybe one day we could use the stenographers for minutes instead of typing out.
Do you want to vote on the minutes now that Mr. Tiff's question has been answered?
Yes.
Mr. Fink?
Just on the minutes.
Abstain?
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Ms. McKeel?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Abstain.
Mr. Tiff?
Yes.
Mr. Slacken?
Yes.
Mr. Grunhut?
Yes.
Minutes passed.
So I'd like to reverse the role. One of the members has to leave. So I'd like to make a motion to, on the agenda.
Second?
Any discussion?
Um,
I'm
There-
sorry.
I'm not sure, for the benefit of the public, you're making what motion go out of order?
Out of order.
So it appears there are two issues. The agenda is actually there's three. It says here you have an agenda. There is, if you could read for the benefit of the public who would read.
Yes, sir.
You may want to close it.
Okay. First motion, amend previously approved with regard to our DEA contract with Catapult Learning, the 2011-2012 school year to reflect a total of 35 classes, 570 hours per week for shadow and their aid services for a total cost of $4,747,357. B, approval to apply to the state of New Jersey, Chapter 192, 193, non-public services for additional funding in the amount of $553,000 for the leased instructional space located in non-public schools. It is understood that this monetary figure may need to be amended as per space requirements of the non-public schools for the 2011-2012 school year to be submitted by October 31st, 2011. Okay, and superintendent's items, approve the amended memorandum of agreement for the 2011-2012 school year. And also under non-certified staff, a transfer of Naomi Downey, secretary 12-month from central registration to LECC campus effective October 4th, 2011. And Jeanette Rodriguez, 12-month secretary, transfer from LECC campus to central registration effective October 4th, 2011. Also, the appointment of the substitute mail delivery warehouse person, salary $15 per hour effective 2011-2012 school year. And all of these appointments are at the approval of criminal history background check.
Through the chair,
Yes.
the superintendent item to be approved of the memorandum agreement 2012-2011. What exactly is that?
You said superintendent.
Yes. So,
Laura, are you,
I'm not clear.
you've also been, the memorandum of agreement is there.
what is that exactly?
Every year we have an
Is that
agreement.
with the police department?
Yes. Every year we have this agreement with the police department, and there has been some revisions, and that's what we were submitting to you. Every year we have an agreement of memorandum which includes services that they provide to our high school, in particular and middle school, and that's what it is.
Is that something you work with Chief Lawson?
Yes.
Through the chair, do you think it would be a good practice to at least let the board know exactly what is in that agreement? Ms. O-
What I did was I followed the procedures that have been followed in years past, but I can definitely give you, it's public document, so I can give you all the board members a copy.
Thank you.
And Rosie will have that sent.
And the public, I owe.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. I have another question too, through the chair. Just about the two items that we have. The IDEA funding. So the 35 classes and the 570 hours of the shadow and aids, that totals out to $4 million or something else included in that figure, Mike?
From what the contract said, well, there was a non-public consultation, several of them. The most recent, I believe, was Monday of last week. I could be off on the day. There are 35 resource self-contained classes. There will be 570 hours of one-on-one shadows paraprofessionals. There's also the STARS program, which is located at River Avenue.
So that $4 million includes that STARS program?
That includes those services. I do want to say, okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, sir.
That includes.
Yes, sir.
Program. Okay. How much do we know of this figure exactly? How much do they charge per hour per this 570 hours? How much is that? How do they figure? How do they?
There's actually a schedule attached. The hourly rates for the various people utilized there.
Is it possible that we can see that?
Absolutely, you saw it. It was made available and was discussed. Previously, it couldn't be made available.
At the last meeting, that was made available.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible to get a copy of that?
Yeah. Not only is it possible, it's a public document, so yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Would you know offhand what they charge for the aids per hour?
Just offhand.
Offhand, I will not know, but there's an exhibit A and B attached to that. Actually, the board, to its credit, asked our auditor, Bowman and Company, to review that, and actually Bowman and Company did review that, and with the superintendent, the then director of special ed, and others, and actually they did a cost comparison comparing if the district would do these, because I want to say this again, I've suggested over the years that the district may want to consider doing this program itself, as opposed to using a third-party vendor. And Mr. Bowman and Company, your independent auditor, prepared a report showing that using a third-party contractor would be more cost-effective, using the district rates for employees and for shadows, teachers, behaviorists, or whatever else is used.
Has the BA looked these numbers over just to make sure that they're accurate numbers?
Yes, we did review the figures as well.
The question number 2 is item number B. What exactly says that the monetary figure may need to be amended or adjusted as per space required? How much for, so you're saying that it can increase or decrease?
Yes, if I could, with the permission of the president. Last year was the first year we started paying rent to non-public schools. Again, it's not local funds. I've been told, in short, it's not local funds. The district applied for Chapter 192 services. In other words, instead of using trailers or modulars to have the children actually receive these services in the non-public schools. If you remember last year, you had an appraiser, a real estate appraiser, Johnson Realty, I believe it was, who went out to the sites and did an appraisal. Then there was a comparison to the actual space utilized. Then there was a comparison to the actual students utilized. That information was sent both to the county and state. And if you remember, initially the state was not necessarily keen on the idea, but eventually did say, and we do have that in writing, that this could be done to us, again, using 192 and for the Title I part of Title I funds from non-public.
Thank you.
The reason it says, I'm sorry, I just want to be very clear here. That number is, from what I've been told, is last year's number. That's what the business office has suggested. If more schools want to use classroom space as opposed to modulars, that number will go up, and then of course the modular rent will go down. That's why at the consultation last Monday, the non-public schools were advised to get their requirements in, I believe it was by October 30th, and I believe Neva and Kathy did send an email reminding them of that, I believe the last one, but I was here for the first one.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call please.
Is that on the agenda as read?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Fink?
Yes.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Ms. Macchio?
Yes.
Mr. Silver?
Yes.
Mr. Tipp?
Yes.
Mr. Slotkin?
Yes.
Mr. Grunhut?
Yes.
Agenda passes.
Oh, one second, we have a student, speaker high school, if you can give us a report now, so you need to go, back. You don't have to wait for that meeting.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. For those of you who weren't at the last board meeting, I'll say my name again. I'm Sim Johnson, 2 A's, not 2 S's. And I'm senior class president at the high school. And I was asked to come on this board and represent and tell you things that happen at the high school. And so I will tell always everything that happens at the high school in its entirety. And so I'll be true to myself and true to God, so no one can try to handle me and tell me what I should and should not say. I always tell the public as well as the board the things that are happening at the school. Whether you like it or not, I'm just going to tell the truth. And some things that I have a problem with is, for one thing, I know the kids at the school, and I guess in the district, they seem to know that the Board of Education, they use our money wrong. We don't get everything we need. But they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know to the full extent what everything happens. Sure, it's written on agendas and everything where it says the money goes, but I would really like to know in the coming months or in the coming time, actually where does everything go because it seems like everything happens under the table, and that's wrong, because everyone in this community, as well as the students, need to know what's happening, and they don't know what's happening. And if people don't like that and you ask me to leave the board, that's fine, but I'll keep coming and I'll keep speaking. I just wanted to put that out there. Where I wrote a lot of notes down. Since they gave me they gave me a chance to speak, I have to make sure I speak. One moment. Yeah, I kind of wrote my notes everywhere. Like I was just saying, it seems to everyone, and it's common knowledge that the money that our public Board of Education has seems to go to the private schools. And I have nothing against the private schools. I have nothing against the Jewish community. I believe in equality for all people.
I hope you have that documented. Don't get up here and start throwing accusations. No, I'm not letting you finish, because I don't like someone saying windows and all these kind of falsities. There's a budget, and there's a very clear budget. The budget is very exact, to the penny. How much money goes to public school, how much money goes to non-public school. And if you come here and you start saying $75 million, $100 million on non-public schools, you better have that documented, because if you don't, please don't come back next time. This is ridiculous. You're here to give a report and not here to give your opinions, and I think there's not an editorial board over here. You're a president of these students, not to go and to start saying things which are undocumented, just hearsay. Someone's telling you probably behind your ears, say this and say this and say this. Who did you review that thing with what you were saying tonight?
Everything I said?
Yes.
That's things that's been a culmination of all of my life living in Lakewood, Mr. President.
What? For the past 2 weeks? 1 second. You gave her a report 2 weeks ago. Now you're giving a new report 2 weeks later of what happened in the past 2 weeks. I'm not here to hear your whole biography or autobiography of the past, how old you, 15, 20 years, or how old are you? 17 years? That's not what we're here for. That's not what you're here.
That is irrelevant.
Right.
That is irrelevant.
That is very relevant.
Through the chair, through the chair.
Yeah.
Through the chair, if I may.
Talking down.
If I may.
Yes, you may.
Encourage, not discourage.
Yes.
He's a young man.
if I may.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We have always had, well, I can't say that.
Freedom of speech does not mean you
Excuse
can
me,
go
through the chair, may I please speak again, because I will not be silenced. I'm 18 years old, I go to the high school, and I don't appreciate how you're talking to me, sir.
Well,
I have a right just like you have a right to speak. To sit on this board. I'm not going to be a puppet and a pawn and say what's funneled to me. I will say the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
I want to hear only the truth. I don't want to hear you saying that most of the money is funneled, that $100 million, most of the money is funneled to non-public school. That's an untruth.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I think the student representative from the years I was either in the high school or sitting here typically reports as to what is going on, sports, activities, a discussion as to the high school. I'm not saying it has to all be good, because it's not always good. But I do suggest that maybe we need to discuss what has typically, now we did not have a student speaker for some time, which was an error of this board, in my opinion. But we do have a student speaker who should be able to speak as to the events as to the high school. Again, no one is attempting, I hope, to limit him. But again, the student speaker and I actually, the Reverend last time after the meeting, did have an opportunity to speak. And typically what the student speaker has done is come here to give reporting as to events, whether it be academic, social, so perhaps that needs to be better reviewed. This is not a situation where the student speaker comes, and I'm not, I happen to be friendly with the student speaker, but not to come to, I don't like the word accusations, that's a hard word, but to, the perception becomes reality. That is not what typically the student speaker has done. So maybe that, in fairness to the student speaker and the board and the public, perhaps we need to review the student speaker's presentation. Perhaps if the student speaker was asked, can you report to us some of the events going on at the high school, perhaps then he would be able to respond to that. Are you prepared to respond to that?
Respond? Say that again, respond to what?
I'm sorry, to some of the events going on at the high school, sports, academic, or anything of that sort.
I mean, sure, but I can also speak about the whole mood and tone in the school. You say you want me to speak about the school. The school to me seems like it's in shambles. We have this grant, $6 million, and that's great and everything. But that's not always what you need. You need discipline. You need to make examples of people who don't do what's right. You need to start at the bottom so that things don't fail at the top. I'm the voice of a forgotten sector, and I will not let people try to intimidate me. And I always say what I want, whether people don't like it or not. And I'm a bit offended. I'm a student at the high school. To hear the president speak to me like this, I have half a mind just to walk off. Because I'm a student, to be spoken like that in a public forum is offensive to me. And I do not appreciate that in the least. If you don't like what I said, you can talk to me after the meeting. I probably won't listen, but you can talk to me after the meeting. If you don't like it, I just don't appreciate being attacked. I have a right, under the United States Constitution, I have a right to speak my mind, and I have a right from God to say what I feel, just like all of you have a right. And if you don't like it, I'm
He
sorry.
absolutely does have the right to present his...
Through the chairman, through the chair,
Yes.
I'd like to move my seat because I don't want to be blamed for this also.
You probably will be, but that's
Sure
a...
you will.
Through the chair, Mike.
Mr. Fink has said nothing to me. He's a nice man. We're
Tell him
talking.
again. Believe me, I'll be blamed for this.
Mr. Fink is a nice man. He's not funneling anything to me. I'm smart enough to see the things that happen in my community, and not dumb enough to believe the things that are told to me.
Through the chair, I believe that if the student, if he, Mr. Sim was brought here to advise us of the tone of the high school and what he's expressing or what the kids in the school are saying. That is the reason why he's here, to express their concerns of what the student base is saying. He is class president, and I'm sure that when they have their meetings at the school, these are some of their concerns. What they come to him about, to let the board know or let the public know exactly what the students are thinking. And if that's what they're thinking, you know, I think it's well within his right to report that to the board, correct?
Am I allowed to continue to speak, or do you want me to shut up?
Speak, son, speak.
I want to make it very clear. I'm not silencing your opinion, not whatsoever. I just had a question to your first statement that said, and I'm not verbatim, but so the minutes will reflect it, that most of the money goes to the public school. We all know most of the money goes to the public school. That's about $100 million, not public school, sorry. Something, right? Am I correct when you said that? And if you did, so I asked you, where is the documentation for that? As far as I know, we passed agendas, $100-something odd million, 75% is local tax money. This is what goes. And everything is line item. If you're going to go and say, most of that $100 million, that's about like $51 million, or whatever it is, goes to non-public school, you need to have it documented. If someone's telling you that, you're old enough to ask that person, is that really true? Show it to me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not here silencing your editorial board, which I don't think really belongs at this forum anyway, but that belongs on that microphone over there. But as far as facts to go and say something, that's terrible. You can't do that. That's the only part that I have a problem with, when you say facts that are not true. And what happens is when you realize, when you say these facts, it's a rebel round. What you're doing is you get people angry. And they come out of here and they say, look at these guys, look at these non-public schools, they take all our money away, etc., etc. And the whole thing was based on a false premise. And that's what I don't like. And I don't think anyone likes it. I don't think anyone will ever get up to the microphone and say that, will say something like that. That's all. And if you do, you should really ask that person, where did they get those things from?
And what about the courtesy buses?
What about it? What about it? It's exactly, you know something?
Mr. Grana.
All right, when you have your turn, if you're on that list, I'll answer you. If you're not on the list, you can come to me after the meeting.
Yeah.
No, I didn't start anything. You don't, all right, anyway. Actually, you may continue on with your report. All right, I see you may continue this, please. Let it be factual. I think you should. All right, go ahead.
All right, it will be factual, but before what you said about me talking about some money. I said no type of 51,000, whatever you said. I didn't say anything about any type of.
No, I said most of 100 million. Most means more than 51 million. Going to non-public school. That's what most means in my language. Anything over half is most, and most really is more than that. So,
gentlemen, if I may,
yes,
can we allow the student of our high school, please just...
Why don't we hear about what's going on in the high school instead of the overall mood?
Mood is important.
It is important, but we'd like to hear about what's going on in the high school.
Okay.
We heard about the mood.
Not all of it.
We got the basic gist of it. Let's now. Yeah, that's right. When you'll have your 4 minutes, and then we'll discuss it.
I see.
I have time with you after this.
I see.
Got it.
Can you continue?
Okay.
I see. Can I ask one more time? Can you please continue?
Yes, I'm waiting for them to talk.
No.
I don't speak when people are speaking.
Well.
At the high school, I'm a part of the PALS program, and I think that's probably one of the best programs at the school. It's run by Miss Tony Pompey, one of the best teachers. And in PALS, what it really is, it's just community service oriented. We go out in the community doing all types of things, which are really great, I guess, for college application, but really great for morally. It makes you feel good to know you're doing something to better your community. PALS, we were involved in making strides for breast cancer awareness. We're going to do a walk October 16th at Point Pleasant, and we're raising money to try for that to benefit breast cancer research and everything. PALS, we also helped translations at the Clark Back to School Night and at the hall guides for the school. We also, October 3rd through the 7th, through the PALS, we had a week of respect and anti-bullying campaign. That was also through the guidance department. Also through PALS, we worked with the Lakewood Historical Commission at the String Theater. I wasn't able to attend that. I had a marching band event. And we're partnering with the Preferred Children's Services in the TOP grant, which stands for Teen Outreach Program. Students, they help and mentor kids after school, and that's like once a week. And that's as far as PALS. We have a lot coming up, and we do a lot for the school. And it's not always PALS gets the recognition that it deserves. Okay, this Friday we have a football game against Jackson Liberty, 3 o'clock. That'll be the Lakewood Friends against Jackson Liberty. And the marching band will be there. The soccer team, they had a game today, they didn't get the score. As well as I think,
Go Pirates.
as well as the field hockey team. And I have I guess I'm not allowed to ask questions, but I'll ask. As far as the marching band goes, the one lady who was a band teacher, she resigned. Today was her last day. The new band starts tomorrow. I don't think it was approved at the last board meeting who will be in charge of that. Because no one seems to know what's happening with that at all. And I don't know, do I have to go through my principal, who I never really get to see, or what? But that's something that I know is a big concern of a lot of the people. What's happening with the marching band, it feels like there's no board support to help at all with that. Yes, we played for the board when it was at the high school 2 years ago, and that's nice and everything, but I know it is a general consensus among the members in the marching band that we would like to feel as if the board backs them.
The board supports you 100%. Through the entire marching band.
Yeah. To that end, was there a new band director hired?
Yes, Michael White.
There is a band director?
It is my understanding that the principal did interview and selected a new band director.
When did he start, Miss Owen?
I
Today?
don't know. I don't have that information.
He starts, I believe tomorrow. I met with him, and he's a nice man.
Do you remember his name, so maybe?
Yes, Michael Wyatt.
Wyatt?
Yes, he was on the last agenda. October 4th he starts tomorrow.
Through the chair? Through the chair?
Oh, teacher. Gotcha. Yes.
There seems to be an issue. I'm speaking to one of the band parents. I remember last year, we also had some kind of disconnect. I remember the band person. I want to make this clear. The board can only act on what is put forth from the administration. Now, this is somewhat ridiculous that we have to hear from a student, and that's nothing against you, sir, that there's not a band director. Now, is there a...
There is a band director. He was approved at the last board meeting. We have the minutes.
Okay, so then that is now resolved.
And Sim also spoke to him.
Right, so now I'm just trying to figure out, a minute ago we were told that the board didn't pack it, now we're told that he already spoke to him, so can you just clarify?
And when I met Mr. Silas, yes, the man was approved, he'll start. But as far as when we do competitions and everything, I remember when Dr. McCord was sat on the board, she came our competitions, she supported, she said that she was going to work with the marching band. Yes, the board approved the new guy, but I feel where's the support? Just approving somebody doesn't mean you're always supporting.
Ms. Silva, can you look into this, because we're sitting here...
I have. Mrs. Purim, who has left to go to another district, has been hired to continue on the basis of stipend. So there's going to be some continuity, and she'll be able to train the new person and get them familiar.
Through the chair,
Yes.
I just wanted to respond to Mr. Inzelbuck. I do remember that last summer, you are correct, it came before us to the board that Mrs. Purim needed to begin her services for the marching band, but she wasn't approved yet because it never came in front of the board, and we had to end up approving her retroactively so she could start her work. That did happen, correct?
Thank you.
I think what through the board, I think what Mr. Johnson is saying though, that he would like more administration support going to events.
Yes,
I agree about administration. This, I agree with him. I think what we need to do, if it's possible, is to get out a listing of all the events to the board members and to parents so we can show some support.
Yes.
the accusation was that the board did not take action and was not behind getting a new manager.
What I,
David just misspoke, but I just was really shocked.
I think, we have to remember, this is a student who may not know the lingo and may not know the nomenclature. So he didn't necessarily mean board. Again, I don't want to do a Talmudic dispute on what he meant. But what I know he is saying, it appears that from what I'm hearing, there was an issue last year. The board, as soon as they were made aware of it, took action. Just so you know, sir, the board can only take action on what is advanced by the superintendent. So if there's an issue, as was discussed last time with you, if there's an issue as far as there not being appropriate personnel, appropriate means not if you like or dislike, but there's not a position filled, you should speak, as you were advised last time, with Mr. Gilson, and then Mr. Gilson should speak with Superintendent Silva. But I don't think he meant the board. Again, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but that's what I'm hearing now. Is there any other information you want to give us?
not at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I do want to remind the board that there were some questions regarding the preschool. The board, we didn't get a chance to just, that is the construction, which involve contracts and possibly litigation. You did want to speak about that. Don't forget, so you don't have to email about it later.
Through the chair.
Discussion, through the chair?
On discussing what? On the agenda or just open discussion?
Open discussion.
Yeah. I have a question. You want to go first?
Fine. If the president will allow me. I recently saw an email. I have a question on NEGBA busing. And the question I have for the BA and the administration, the email that I saw, which we all saw, basically said that we've deducted $29,000. That was for poor performance at the end of last year. I just want to find out if NEGBA is actually owed that money.
This is a potential litigation. As the email that I wrote to all of the board, I believe you're referencing my email. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The transportation chairperson did call for NEGBA and their lawyer wanted an opportunity to meet with the transportation committee. They did so. This is a potential litigation matter, so I would suggest that, and it was discussed in closed session this evening, I only can suggest you can do as you wish, but this is a litigation matter regarding those monies. But it was, I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair. Is there anything else, Mr. Bailey? Is that it? Mr. Bailey? Was that it?
I'm finished. Thank you.
Ms. Silva, I recently attended back to school night at Clark at the last meeting, that's why I wasn't here. Some concern, I was told by, just me asking my daughter who goes there, who has Spanish at last semester, does not have Spanish at Clark. Is that something that we don't have anymore at Clark? She's in the 6th grade. Did they cut out the Spanish program at that school?
They haven't cut out the program. What the principal has done is that she has rescheduled things so that at the end of the year, the teachers will have as many specialties as is possible, given the number of reps that they have, et cetera, et cetera. But in terms of the concern, I believe, was that they didn't have as many specialties. For example, every child didn't have art, music, Spanish. They will have during the course of the year, but not initially. So they will have Spanish, and no, Spanish has not been cut out. It's a world language.
So when does the Spanish program actually kick in?
It kicks in for some children in the beginning of the year, will run till January, and then after that from February to June.
So from January
to June.
To June. June to December.
Yes.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Ms. Posada just reminded me that we do have a contractor here regarding the preschool issue as well as Aramark, which involves issues that are exempt from the sunshine. And in response to, in fairness to one of the emails I saw, the chairperson, rightly so, I've been trying, and Mr. Fink can acknowledge or not, so be it, I've been trying to keep the board up to date, and there were some questions posed, which is why we have brought the contractor and Aramark here. The board did discuss that we would go out around 8 and then go back in to discuss, because Arlene is reminding me they are here in the audience, wanting to discuss this in closed session. So I don't want you to forget those questions, and they are at your leisure available to discuss with you those important questions that were asked.
I'd like to make a motion to go into private session.
No.
Second time he said that.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Fink?
If you need a second.
We had a second right here.
Who was the second?
Mr. Greenspan.
Mr. Fink?
No.
Mr. Friedman?
Yes.
Mr. Greenspan?
Yes.
Ms.
You guys
McNeil?
came out of there,
Yes.
you came out of there late. First of all, you came out of there late. The public is here, waiting to be heard. And it's an audacity for you guys to want to go back into closed session and have, listen, some people are going to leave, but some of us are going to wait you out. So if you want to go in there so they can leave, go in there, but we're going to wait.
Please stay. Everyone should please stay. Everyone
So the audacity,
all the public
you
should
constantly
please
disrespect the public. You constantly disrespect the public. These people came early. You guys came out of there late.
Mr. Seidler? No. Mr. Silver?
I think we should go to public speak first.
Your vote?
No.
Mr. Tipp?
No.
Mr. Slacken? Mr. Grunlap? I'm sorry.
No.
Ms. Media wants to say something.
Yes, I totally agree that the public should be allowed to speak. Take a look at how many have signed up, and I have voted yes in error. Go in conference right now. I would like to change my vote.
All in favor?
Board's
Aye. Okay, it's so changed.
A motion fails.
Thank you.
Elton Atkinson, if I'm allowed to do that. Wait a minute, let me just make sure. Can I start calling this?
Yes.
Good, thank you. Do you want to speak? No? Okay. And I'm saying this wrong, I'm sorry. Jerry Mosen, I'm sorry if I'm not reading it correctly.
Munson.
Jerry Munson, do you want to speak?
Yes.
If you could, take your time.
This is my first appearance of this, and can you hear me? Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Munson, you just need, it won't take away from your time, you just have to give your address first.
Jerry Munson, 111B Edinburgh Lane.
Lakewood?
Lakewood, right. This is my first attendance of this meeting. And my first impression, I'm not impressed. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to speak about something else. But Mr. President of the board, I don't care what happens. When we have youth, the first thing we have to do is we have to show them respect. And I'll tell you why we have to show them respect. Because we want them to respect us. I'm a senior citizen, and when I look around, I look at the board, I'm shaking my head. I see somebody answering a phone, texting, laughing, which I thought was inappropriate. The young man may not be what you all would consider the most advanced speaker, but we need to give him respect. We need to show people here that we are a community that works together, not that there's division. He may not have said the most proper thing, Mr. President, but the way to correct him is in private, not in public, because we want him to go on and keep the board going on. Thank you.
Take your time.
My name is Bernice Farrell. I live at 209A Huntington Drive in Lakewood. I too have a concern with the way the young man was treated. Young people need to be respected because we want them to respect us. But one of the concerns I always have at Board of Ed meetings, and I've been to many of them, this is my first in New Jersey. I haven't lived here before, so I'm learning a lot. When you come in late, it shows us that you didn't respect us enough to come in on time. Our time, I know you're all volunteer, you know, you're paid because you're an attorney. But I know that. But still, there are people here who work all day. They have children they bring with them because they want to come to this meeting. So you have to think of their feelings. I have a lot of things. I could be up here till tomorrow talking about a lot of the things that I'm concerned about. But that's curriculum issues. The other thing I wanted to talk about, the young man expressed concerns that he hears in the high school. He spoke about a concern about where the money goes. He not only hears that in high school, I hear it in the community. Therefore, it is your responsibility as the Board of Education of this town to make it clear to the citizens where the money is going. Because you know everybody can't read a budget. So therefore, I would say it behooves you to make it clear. So therefore, he would have to come back and say that. Thank you for your time.
Maria Renda, I'm sorry.